And Harold, I'm going to have you start by introducing yourself, telling us what inspired you to be a part of the company and what passions support what you're doing today.
Well, thank you for having me. Yeah, so I'm Harold. We are in our 35th year of business. So originally, my father had a hitch business way back in the day, so late 60s through the 70s. And then in 1980, when the oil embargo hit, no one was towing. And so he basically crashed and burned. He went and worked for U-Haul, became the only person in town that could actually weld, fabricate hitches. And then in 1990, he decided he wanted to start back up. And I was just graduating from college. And so I was a very silent partner at the time. I had a software development company that I was working on. And that went kind of sideways with Lucent Technologies. And so in 96, I became full time. So it wasn't so much a passion initially. It was more that I had to have a job. And it was something I was good at. I've been doing it since I was 17 years old. And we just started, the more we did it, the more we learned that helping people get their vehicles outfitted, their trailers, to get their enjoyment of enjoying the outdoors, to be that RVer that they wanted to be. Just became kind of my more passion, to just to see their eyes light up when they're like, oh my God, I can take my bike, I can take my kayak, I can take my trailer. It was exciting for me. So.
Well, I can thank you for that, Harold, because the hitch on the back of my Jeep that my husband owns takes us to places here in Colorado that you would not believe. So thank you for that. You know, the inspiration started a long time ago for you, Harold. Can you tell me a little bit more about that story behind the story that you have and why you're so passionate about providing the various hitches that you have for your clients?
Yeah, I would say again, it's mostly that there's, being in Colorado, we're kind of spoiled. Everyone wants to get out for the most part, but not everyone can figure out how to do that to do it correctly. So whether it's on the really big hitches, like the fifth wheel hitches, most people don't even know how to set that up, get it in their vehicle. A lot of times they don't even know the correct vehicle to get. So we become an educator at times to say, the truck you have just isn't going to do what you need to do. So let's start with step A, let's get the correct vehicle, and then we can do that. So I do try to find out what the customers want to do in order to resolve their not, I want to say problems, but to get all the equipment that they need correctly. I kind of try to call it the perfect purchase. I try to get them everything they need to make their trip, their goals achievable. But at the same time, at least trying to make it economical. So not just buying everything under the moon to do that. But the passion there is I just love to make people enjoy the experience. Because if you tow, let's go back to the fifth wheel hitch. If you tow something really big and you have a bad experience, you're never going to go it again. And so we just want to make sure that we make it safe and enjoyable so they continue to enjoy going to the outdoors, doing their camping, and in this case, even going around the United States. We have a lot of people even going into Canada. One of the big things we do also is setting up vehicles to be flat towed behind motorhomes. So when they get to the destination, they get unhooked and then they can drive around the town and visit everything, and they're not just stuck in their big motorhome.
Wow, you mentioned something, I thought we were going to talk about hitches. My goodness, you are actually doing more than just hitches here, Harold. And I know living here in Colorado, it's a big deal to be going out into places that we love, and it's always the outdoor. In your experience, is there like one story that you can share with our listeners that really touched your heart and actually enforced the why that you have in what you do? Because I can hear the enthusiasm. I can hear the heart there, guy.
That's a great question. I would say it's just been a long time ago. There was one that was it was an older lady, not that it had to be an older, but it was just an example. And she'd always wanted to tow a camper, and she just said that she couldn't do it. And I don't know how we got connected, but she called us, and she had I believe it was like a Toyota RAV4 or something, a smaller SUV. And she's like, yeah, I just have the vehicle, I can't do anything. I'm like, well, no, let's talk about what do you want to do? And she's like, I just need a very small trailer. In this case, it was what they call a teardrop, just something small. And I said, your vehicle can definitely do that. So we had a great discussion. She brought her vehicle in, we got her set up, and then I put her in contact with a group that I knew carried similar trailers. She got that. She brought it back. We made sure everything was hooked up correct. We drove, I think I drove with like for about 5 minutes around. We jumped on C470 and we just got it to where one, she learned that she could do what she wanted to do, but number two, she felt comfortable doing it. And she was a customer of mine for at least 10 years. I've not seen her for a few years, so I don't know, how that's gone, but she was a great customer. But it worked out for me because I actually felt like I was getting someone on the road that would never have done it, but yet that's what she wanted to do. So I would say that was, for me, that was one that always stuck out in my head. So
What a story, Harold. And I tell you what, if I'm looking for a hitch, I'm going to come look for you because you went the extra mile to help put her on the road with what she was towing and giving her that confidence that she could do it. That's more than a hitch, guys. Did you hear that? Is it landing for you? So I want you to lean in a little bit more because I'm going to ask Harold to give us maybe 2 or 3 tips that can help us with making a decision about hitches. You willing to do that, Harold?
absolutely. And it comes down to, and that's what we try to be the education. It's what do you want to do it for? So for instance, if you come to me and you say, I just want to carry my bikes, then I'm going to ask what kind of car you have. And you may have just a small sedan. I'm like, we can make that work. But then if you come to me and say, I want to tow a 30-foot bumper pull, then I'm like, well, we need to know if you have a very large SUV or a full-size pickup or even a small pickup. Or like I was saying, if you want to come to me and say, I want to tow a big 5th-wheel trailer, now we need to make sure that we get you into that right truck. As well as the nice thing for us is on the trucks, we can also help with accessories, because if you get a brand new vehicle, you may not have the step to get into the truck. Yeah, you may want a bed cover to cover your bed and stuff. So we try to get you everything you need. Again, going back, I always love to say the perfect purchase. I can help you at all levels, but we can definitely, it just comes down to finding out what you want to do and then matching product to vehicle specifics at that point.
Now that is amazing, Harold. Not only are you providing information, but you're also providing safe equipment. And then if you need it, listeners, you even get the extra help where he'll even work with you for it. So Harold, that is truly going that extra mile for your clients. And I can tell you, listeners, you're looking for that hookup, Hitch Corner is where you want to be. Got one more question for you, Harold. You ready for it?
I think I'm ready. We'll see.
You got this. You've got this. With all the experience that you've had in the businesses that you've been in the Hitch Corner, what's one of those lessons that you learned that you'd love to share with our listeners?
I think mostly, and this is more, I believe I'm answering this question from more of a business standpoint, is back in the day, and I'm talking from like 95 to literally probably 2010, I tried to take everything on. Now, granted, it was me and my dad, but I tried to do everything. I finally learned that you definitely need to delegate. In my case, I got a good manager. I freed up my installers a little bit more. I wasn't like Mr. Micromanager. But more importantly, the reason I did that was I knew that I needed some free time. I needed to be away from the office once in a while. I have boys that play lacrosse. I have my oldest is in college playing lacrosse. My youngest is going to be playing in college soon. So I need to make sure that I could get away to go see them, visit, or I was going to go insane, to be honest with you. So it was just learning that the process can still work without me being there all the time, and just finding the right people that are just as passionate as myself.
Oh my goodness. You brought up a really good point for business owners out there. So I'm hoping that our listeners leaned in when Harold talked about learning to delegate. And, Harold, I tell you, I'm going to say this. I believe that lesson in delegating also brought in the lesson in balancing our life. What do you think?
I absolutely agree. Again, yeah, I was like, my wife would get crazy sometimes because I'd come home late and I was out gone early. And so you're exactly right. Without that balance, if I had continued down that path, it would have been a nightmare. So yes, balance is huge for family and just even personal. Just you need your free time. You need a little alone time, and you can't be at the office all the time. So work has to be It's at that whole thing. We don't want to live to work. We want to work to live. You need to have that balance.
Love it, Harold. Delegation and balance for family, important for all of our business owners out there. So take it to heart. Harold, you gave us some amazing information here. How can our listeners contact you?
Yeah, the easiest is we're in Littleton, Colorado, so you can always call us at or text at 303-904-1558. Or obviously the easiest is go to hitchcorner.com. That's HITCHCORNER.com. We have a request form on there so we can get you, whatever you're looking for. And just reach out to us. We answer quickly. And again, we'd like to educate as well. So don't just say that I need this. You can say, this is what I'm thinking about. Can we do this?
I love it. And I'm going to ask you one more question because I want you to tell us who out there who's listening to this show would be a perfect person to pick up that phone and say, hey, Harold, I need some help.
Yeah, honestly, I love to say literally anyone with a vehicle I can help. So meaning whether it's from the inside of like floor mats to roof racks to whatever, but on the more specific side, if you're an outdoor enthusiast, if you're an RVer, we are definitely there to help. But even in the work environment, if you're a construction worker, you need a truck rack. If you're trying to pull a big gooseneck trailer, we do gooseneck hitches. So literally anybody that has a vehicle that you're trying to do anything with it, I believe we're your source. And I'm always looking for fleets. Fleets of vehicles are the greatest thing known to man. So
amazing. Thank you so much for taking the time, Harold. I truly enjoyed having you on board.
Thank you so much, Mamie. I appreciate the time.
Awesome. So for those listeners out there, you want to get hitched, you want to get that connection, Harold Kiefer is your man at Hitch Corner. Thanks for joining us at Leveraging Up. It's your voice, your story, and your impact. See you at the top. Have a great day.